Hi guys, welcome to the video. This is a kind of special edition Christmas video. We're going to talk about ways to gift watercolor. So there's lots of nice ways to do this, and I wanted to just share a couple with you. As you can hear, I am not feeling that well, so I do apologize for that, but yeah, it's getting close to Christmas and I wanted to get the video to you, so please bear with me. How are you guys going? I hope the holidays are treating you well. You can see Millie is loving the snow. Okay, so there have been a few ways we have already kind of gifted watercolors, so I wanted to share some of those with you today and talk you through just some nice ways to kind of spread watercolor around. And I feel like often we have like extra maybe half pans we didn't end up using, or colors in tubes that we didn't end up using, or even student grade paints we started with that we can sort of pass on and let people enjoy. So one of the things I wanted to show you here was a little selection of colors I made for my mum and dad and sister. I went to a function and they took some special little watercolor goodies for people, and I just wanted you to see that you don't have to necessarily always like put everything into a palette. You can put them into little boxes. You can just use sort of maybe half pans you've had that you didn't end up wanting those colors, and put glitter on them, put bits of gold foil on them, and make a little sparkly something for someone else. You can also do what we did here for another thing, and created these little paper palettes, which I absolutely love. Okay, if I sound a bit strained, yeah, but I love making these paper palettes. So we've been making these for a long time, but it's such a nice way, how to present a video when you're sick and pretend you're not sick. I absolutely love making the paper palettes because it doesn't take up much paint, but they get a little bit to try, and it's just a very fun thing. So you can also see that I put together some booklets with I just tore up paper from some cotton pads. And the important thing about paper is that the sizing will go off after a while. So at the end of the year, if there's like some paper stacks that I know I probably won't get to, I love doing something like this and tearing those up, punching some holes, putting some of those book rings in them, adding a ribbon, and creating a little watercolor kind of enjoyable thing. You can either put them at the kids' table, you can put them around with the adults. It's a really fun way to just give everyone sort of something to talk about, to kind of do. So here is just I'm just going to give you an overview of how I sketch out the palettes. So you can kind of see, I start from the back and then kind of expand it around, and then I'll tweak the shape little bits. I put the thumb hole in there, and I'll also kind of usually add a little border around the edges, like one in the thumb hole and one around here, just to give the palette a little bit of a 3D quality. And then I usually will put like a garland of little roses or little leaves, different little flowers around here as well. This is just such a nice way to do something that really actually makes people feel very like you've really thought about them and taken some time for them, but it doesn't take too much time and it doesn't take too much paint. So it's really nice. You can see as well, I apologize for the lead that I was using was really scratchy, and because I was sick I was just too tired to figure out where my other pencil was, so I apologise for that. But I think at this point we're just soldering on. So you can stop the video here and pause it and take a screenshot and use this to create your own templates, or you can create your own palette. Kind of imagine, there's lots of different ways you can create rectangular palettes, different shaped palettes, so you can just really have fun with that as well. This is a palette we put together for my sister's friend. So she wanted to give her like all these kind of different pastel colours that she really likes. So yeah, we went through and I have quite a lot of the kind of Holbein pastel type colours anyway. I used to buy them a lot, I used to use them a lot, and I think now I use colours that are a little bit more nuanced, but I still love those, and we have quite a lot of it. So yeah, that was really nice to be able to make her up that palette. And then she also really loves blue, so we created this extra little palette that was just for sort of just had a blue theme, and I'll talk a little bit about more about those in a minute. But these are also some that I created to send to my other sister. So this one, so don't look if you're watching, but this is a Traveller's Company notebook. So we put 3 notebooks in here, and one of these is a watercolor sketchbook. So I tested out the paper here at the back, and yeah, it's quite nice. It's not it's just a nice sort of watercolor sketchbook, for what it is. So and then this one is a Chic Sparrow, and we put a little art toolkit watercolor palette in the pocket, the Chic Sparrow Sidekick. And so this is another nice way to gift watercolor without using too much paint as well. Like the little mini kind of quarter pens don't hold that much paint. We also put a Hobonichi, the one-piece edition, in here for her. Yeah, and a lot of people like using watercolor on the Hobonichi paper as well. So I will go through and show you what we ended up putting in that palette for her as well. But the other thing is, if you know someone who already has a lot of watercolors, maybe give them some extra supplies that they maybe wouldn't buy for themselves generally, in some of the colors that they'll like. So here is like a set of the Caran d'Ache pastel pencils. They're quite expensive. I like to get just a few colors at a time in a color palette that I've been really enjoying. Like that one I have been really enjoying. And also you can see like some accessories. So some ways to carry watercolors, for example, this Sendak roll, you can put lots of the little art toolkits or palettes in here. Also, yeah, just different things. I wanted to show this as well. I have been using this Staedtler graphite sharpener, which has been actually doing pretty well on these pastel pencils. I feel like they are pretty notorious for being hard to sharpen, but that has been, I think one pencil seemed to keep breaking, but I don't know if that was the lead in the pencil, if it had been dropped, but generally that does pretty well. And I don't sharpen them all the way either. But the other thing is, I made this a few years ago, and I have shared this before, but I really, this is probably one of the favorite things that I've made. I loved creating this. You can see like at the top, I left holes for like to create little pockets, and I basically just glued the sides and the bottom. I took this on trips, I took it to the shops. Yeah, you can see like I just glued down the side and the bottom, but I would take this everywhere, and I absolutely loved this. So this is another way to just create your own type of leather cover. This leather was pretty nice leather. I'll see if I can find the shop, but it was not very expensive. So this whole thing maybe cost under $20 to make or something like that. And then the other thing in here is this palette of neo colors and little dot cards kind of that I made myself. So I loved at that point scribbling the neo colors on and creating a palette, and I would just pick paint up from those colors. Other thing that I did in here is my old dot cards. All the favorite ones, I cut them up and I made a little traveling palette. So again, like really nice ways to create things. Like you could create little dot cards for people and write out the colors that you've given them. One of the really nice things about doing this is that you can think about colors that they will really enjoy as well, and it kind of opens up whole new color possibilities. I think we get kind of very color is so personal and so kind of you're drawn to your favorite colors, straight away. And then when you think about someone else's favorite colors, you can start to kind of uncover some new color possibilities. And I think that's really important to know and kind of even understand in art. Sometimes we'll need to paint things that are kind of beyond our usual reach, and so it's nice to kind of be able to dip into these other realms. Like my sister really loves like their duochrome autumn mystery from Daniel Smith, those type of ones, and I didn't have any of those in my collection, so I picked colors like the copper and potter's pink and things that I thought she could mix those type of colors from. The kind of sparkly olive green, which is she's been really enjoying the olive green, and I think that one's called the iridescent jade. But yeah, like I think it's really nice when you can kind of curate almost a little artwork, for someone else, and be really thoughtful about them in that way. And I think they generally really like it. So even with something like this, the little art toolkit, even if they never use it, I bet you find that it's quite a special treasure for them. So the other thing that I like to do is I always, if I create a palette for someone, I like to keep a copy and a record just of, I swatch down and I take a note of what was in there, because sometimes they will like run out of something, they will want to refill it or ask you kind of what it was, or they'll like lose the swatch card that you gave them or something. So it's quite nice to have that on hand to kind of refer back to. And then I also just always like to do some swatches, see if the kind of colours, the colour range is there that you're looking for. So another thing is to give them a sketchbook with some colours, or if they already have watercolours, maybe give them a sketchbook with a couple of your sketches inside it. So for example, this is a Leuchtturm, and I actually really like the way watercolour sits on top of this paper. It's really vibrant, and yeah, anyway, it's just quite nice to use in a Leuchtturm. But my sister wanted me to just do a couple of pages for her friend, just kind of showing different ways to mix, different ways to use the watercolours. So along with like a proper watercolor book, we sort of gave her this one that she can kind of play, sketch, mix, try things. We swatched out the colors there, so she has all the color names and like just different ways to mix, different little tips about mixing. I really loved the ice blue and hematite violet, the way that mixed. That was really nice. But yeah, don't be afraid to, take up a few of their pages. I feel like we all love to kind of peek into each other's sketchbooks, and I feel like they will really love having a little bit of your sketching in their book, and especially like things that they can refer to, and just a little piece of kind of your art that can kind of be with them. I think it's very nice. It's also just so nice to share some of your tips and tricks, things that you like, things that you have learned along the way that, not necessarily everyone can kind of pick up those things. Like, it takes a long time to accumulate all those different, aspects of a thing, and sort of figure out how to kind of mold that all together. So it's quite nice to share it in that way. And yeah, the other thing was, so I created this blues palette for her, and then it had just been sitting there drying, and I kept looking at it, and I realised it reminds me of the beach in Australia. It actually, I'm sitting here, it's snowing right now, so we're coming up to Christmas and we're going to have a nice white Christmas. And the initial hush of that, the beautiful kind of first snow, is really lovely. But when I was looking at this palette, it reminded me of Christmas in Australia, and it's, there's always like a lot of kind of water, seafood, warm weather and things like that. The other thing, so I made another one for her. So I'm trying to say, but what I just couldn't give it up. But so one of the colours I didn't have an extra one of, and I thought, should I just give that one to her and just get another one? It wouldn't really matter. Or is there something else I think she would like more? And so I looked through and I found this mint from Royal Talons, and you could see like just that one colour change created a whole different feeling in the palette as well. So that's also something really interesting. So the last thing I want to talk about ways to gift watercolour is either your own paintings or somebody else's paintings. So these are from a French artist, and he creates the most beautiful botanical illustrations. These are prints. So these are for my mum, but even with all the shipping situations going on, these shipped really well, really quickly, and yeah, these are so beautiful. What I really love about it is you can see the detail in his work, like the really fine sort of dry brushing, and it's really, really beautiful to see that in real life. It's really interesting, I think, as well, to kind of see another artist's work up close like this, and the detail is just exquisite. So it's so nice when you just can kind of see that art. I don't know. It's really worthwhile, and I highly recommend getting someone a print or an artwork. So yeah, we have some tired dogs waiting for breakfast, and I think so we sort of petered out pretty quick on our 12 days of Christmas treats, but one of the things we did were these hot chocolates, and I might put a little reel on about this. You can see Millie. But yeah, it was just really quite a nice thing to do. I said to my sister, "Are you going off a recipe?" Because she kept pulling out all these little spices and things. No, just vibes. So anyway, I hope you guys have. I'll try and get out actually a Christmas peony video for you before Christmas. But just in case I don't, have a Merry Christmas. I will see you soon. Bye.